Good morning and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our daily contemplation. I'm Juna,
Sabine,
and we're from Synergy in Motion, where it's all about living true to you and your magic, living in wonder and awe on this beautiful planet. And here we are, we've been graced with another day. Yesterday was the longest day of the year, the solstice.
or the shortest
Or the shortest day, wherever you are.
Two extremes.
Extremes, and that's exactly what we're talking about. We're exploring the 15th hexagram of the I-Ching, and we're in the third day of 6, and it's all about dancing in extremes and looking at moderation. How do you moderate between extremes? And
And today we're gonna get messy.
It's called Getting Messy with It, because life is diverse, life is extreme. You might be an extremist, and there's lots to explore.
And when you look at our Western culture, one of the things that we avoid is change. And we avoid getting into different aspects. We avoid extremes. But the fun of life is to celebrate extremes, to get messy, to try new things out. Because otherwise you will stay with the same old comfortable, and that can be very boring. And when you allow yourself to get messy without losing you, that's the beauty of this hexagram. It is, on one side it's the extremes, on the other side is the modesty, moderation, right? By measure. What was it?
Within measure?
Within measure.
Within measure.
Right? So it is always knowing your own measure, what works for you, what doesn't, and allowing yourself to fall into extremes without losing touch with who you are, instead of just staying quiet in the same four walls, always in the same patterns, in the same ways of doing things. Sometimes that is correct, and other times we just need to get messy. So
yeah, I mean, we have a couple of examples. One of the ways that we get messy in life is when we travel, when we go on the road with our Airstream, and we don't know if we're going to have a place to stay at night sometimes. And then it's just using our wits, and we kind of like that extreme, like, where are we going to be tonight and what's the adventure? And yet we have some things that we go, okay, so this is what we'll start looking by noon to find a place that we can get to before dark. So we moderate that a bit. But yeah, we've been on some really amazing adventures. Going to Santa Fe in wintertime with our little RAV4. That was pretty extreme, and everybody's like, you're driving an Airstream with a RAV4, how can you do that? And we did it, and we did everything we could in moderation. But yeah, we've had some quite adventures.
And it's actually interesting, because those who love normal and rules, we had people argue with us on gas stations, seeing the setup of the RAV4 and the 25-foot Airstream, telling us that it's not possible to pull this trailer with this car. And here we are in the middle between Canada and New Mexico, and we're here, and it works. The car runs just fine, but they tried to convince us that it shouldn't work. And it's like, okay. And you see that dynamic of our society trying to tell us it's not possible. But unless you dare to be messy, you will never find out. Unless you dare to also fail. We were willing to fail with that. We're willing to stay in a parking lot or somewhere very creative, and we have when we didn't find anything.
Yeah, it was dark one night. It was like midnight. We couldn't find a place, and we pulled into a Best Western, and we asked for permission if we could stay in their parking lot, and she said yeah, and said we'll get out by 2 a.m. It's just for a little bit, and we did. So.
And on that parking lot, what that creates, I took the dogs out in the morning to go for a walk, and I saw a wolf. He was sitting right there looking at me. I was very quiet and turning around with the dogs and walking away, but it was a magical moment. So that's what being messy, being willing to be messy when it is correct for you. It's not always go messy. Go messy within your own measures. Never ever lose your own your trust into your own knowing.
And there's just another quick example when I, like with my workouts, I used to do extreme workouts, but I had a lot of training with my body, and I learned to know what was the difference between good pain and bad pain. And I always taught my students, know when it's good pain where it takes you to that edge and you're sweating and it's like, ah, or when it's bad pain where you know if you do that extra little thing, you're going to pull a ligament, you're going to break something, you're going to stretch something. And just like going for these extreme workouts, dancing really, really hard, and then also knowing my own measure and knowing when I need to just listen to my body. And that took some training. I didn't always know that. And today's line, it's called line 3 in this hexagram, and it's trial and error. It's being willing to go try this, try that. And yeah, we've got this diversity then again within your own sense of knowing. And sometimes you don't know until it's too late, but then you can self-correct again.
It's like get out of your comfort zone and be messy within your own range. I mean, don't always, oh, I could hurt myself. No, sometimes you hurt yourself. Sometimes when you dance wildly and crazy, you do pull a muscle and it will heal again, right? So don't avoid the intensity of living by staying comfortable. And yeah, that allow yourself to just be a little bit more messy than you're comfortable with. Whether that is eating your food or dancing to your favorite tune or gardening, just allow your clothes to get messy and your hands get messy, and with each other. We allow us to get messy. Sometimes we have a fight and it's like, it's a messy fight, but it's good because it clears the air and it's intense and it moves, it shifts things. When you allow yourself to get messy, you can shift that which is stuck. You can't do that in comfortable. So in this moment, just take a moment, come home to yourself, take a deep, deep breath, deep, messy breath.
There's no right way to breathe. Breathe messy. I like that.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways to breathe.
Exactly. Play with that. And invite that little bit of chaos, or a lot of chaos, if it is correct for you in this moment, into your life, breaking out of the norm, out of the comfortable that keeps you small. Let's play with that today.
Thank you for joining us. This is awesome. Get messy with it. With this messiness, you're creating a whole new world today. What's it going to be? Dancing in the extremes and then coming home to you while in the extremes. Such a fun playground. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, Synergy in Motion. Bye for now.
Bye.